watching on the stream for... Oh, oops. There we go. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Let me turn off my desktop audio. 1 second. Close my door. All right, so just to reiterate some of the things we said in the chat for those that are just listening. Hello, welcome to the party. Today we'll be releasing a new Tiamat and looking deeper at automatically generating exec modules based on an OpenAPI 3 spec. So that's our goal for today. We'll also talk of we need to change exec modules because the exec is short for execution, and we need to name our things that don't have the implication of violence. And so exec modules will probably be having their name changed soon, probably to run or something else. So if you have an idea of what you think would be nice. I mean, even Microsoft, all of their programs are executables, EXE. So yeah, I wonder how deep this is going to go. And Python has a built-in called exec. Yeah, I wonder how far. Runners is already taken inside of Salt. It's not inside of Idem land, but it could get confusing for people that are familiar with both constructs. So I don't know what we'll go with. Run was the suggestion we were given, but yeah, it could be confusing. Even for pop projects, we have a run.py at the base of the project. So Idem's new execution modules named run. Yeah, that'd be confusing. So first thing today, we're going to release a new version of Tiamat. Be doing that on, and the opening theme was Sunset Piano Soothing Music. And it's Friday, so at the end of the stream, we'll do other $20 giveaway. I think we can do that pretty consistently from that one. My video seems to be having some lag. I'm going to close out of the stream. My other that's lag. Video. Okay. So let's look at releasing a new Tiamat as our first order of business. Full screen. Here we go. So I was this morning, I might as well show again some of the functionality of Idem Cloud and what we've done with Idem VMC. Okay, Idem exec name list my SVCs from VMC. That's a VMwareism. Right? Say VMC dot I probably shouldn't do or user list. VMC dot can I do? Yeah, or I can get my default SVC. Yeah, got some functionality in here. So I can say VM tool show VMs. Oh, yes. This one might take a little while because it's got to ping all of my VMC and get the VMs from that. There we go. And we will list all of the virtual machines, all of my SADCs. So another tool that one of the VMware was VMware meeting. Your SDDCs and VMC stuff into a single file. And so I had to take that tool. Let's just look at it real quick because it's fun. Don't worry, we'll get to releasing Tiamat. This export tool and did with async IO, and importing this stuff to item as much as I can. I'm going to have an item NSX module that will handle some of these other policy things that are changing instead of calling the NSX proxy from here. So what this tool does is I can say VMC pool export STDCs. Oh, there is no function in there. Oh, just STD. Nice. And it wrote it. How about CJW rule? I can name any of these functions. Or I can export all of them. So the significance of this tool is it represents something that we want to do with item in the future, which is it describes the state of VMC. So if we could do that for other clouds, imagine you pick up item and you're like, I really would like to write item states, but it's the SLS format is complicated. There's so many things to do. How do I get started? I want you to be able to say item export and then say export STDCs and then spit out an SLS file that describes your system, and then I want you to be able to use that as a starting point for your states. So you could change the name of it, you could use some Jinja to make new resources that are exactly like your current resources. That would be the goal of the export tool made into a more broad item tool. So I'm excited about that. It's not a priority before June. It'll probably happen after June because I've got a lot on my plate before then. But this summer there's a lot of really cool stuff that we've got coming to item. And starting Monday, there's going to be a lot more people working full time on developing clouds and features in item. So it's going to be awesome. And like we mentioned on the Wednesday stream, one of the problems we want to solve is we're not currently able to run, but you can run item clouds states from within Salt, but it's not intuitive how to do that, how to set it up. And so, and you can't, it's not intuitive how to use Heist to bootstrap a minion with item cloud, and it's not clear how to send your credentials around for item cloud, and it's not clear, let's see, how to do orchestration with item cloud inside of Salt with the event bus. So those are all things that I'm planning on documenting, writing code to facilitate. There's many things that we want to do to get item cloud to where it's a place to where it's useful for everyone. You can use it as a standalone tool. You can use item cloud from within Salt. You can use it from VRA. Those are the goals, is to have item cloud be useful everywhere. Yeah. So without further ado, I'm not going to be looking at item VMC today. That's a project for another day. But, and we're not looking at this right now. Let's look at releasing a new TMH. And because of the video lag, I'm not watching my own stream. So if you can't see something, or if it looks like I'm talking about something that doesn't show up, then let me know. Yeah, it looks like I am on my full screen scene. And this is what my OBS studio looks like. Isn't it fun? Yeah, I found that nifty app called DroidCam that lets you use your phone's front-facing camera and microphone as a webcam for your computer. Pretty nifty. And I think DroidCam, it works on Windows, Linux, and Mac. Like, it's a pretty common project, because I know webcams, with COVID, webcams became a hot commodity, and I think that's kind of what drove the creation of that tool. But pretty cool. All right, TMS. Let's pull upstream master. Done. Okay. And I think I did a 7.8 the other day, and I just need to release it version 9. So releasing a new thing on PyPy is pretty easy. We have this tool called pop release, and I'm not going to cat the contents of the file, but you put your credentials in a PyPyRC for accessing PyPy or PYP, whatever your favorite name is for that website. And pop release will pick up those credentials and it will use them to release something on PyPy. So I just need to say pop release tmet 7.9 we're at. It builds a wheel, changes the version in that branch, git push upstream master tags. I don't think they want me pushing the master, even if it's something cool. Bring up tags. Please also make a pull request. Are all of my links just broken? Origin, git at gitlab.com, ahmad tmh.git. Weird. Well, it just upgrades that version file, and since I know what the version should be, we're all good. Now releasing it on Artifactory. So to do that, we've got to build tmet with tmet. Oh, whoops. There we go. Oh, this isn't what I want either. It looks in my history. History grep tmet. It's not in there. History grep docker. No. Hold on a sec. Found it. Okay, so this is when I was building a windowed app. -n tmet. Tmet AMB64. So this is actually how you use the This is how I use the tmat Docker containers. I say tmat run -v, and I give my source project, and I link it to the /source directory on the container, so it's in a predictable space for the container. Then I specify an image, which is salt stack tmat AMD64-n tmat, to say that I want to build the tmat project in the current directory. So if I run this, it'll build tmat in a Docker container. Hmm. Let me verify where this was. Um, oh, just backwards. Salt stack /tmat. One AMD. Okay. Now the funness of watching paint dry as we download this image and build Tiamat with Tiamat. And I'll release it on Artifactory. All right. Almost done with Salt stack Tiamat. We can look at this Salt stack Tiamat Docker images real quick. So we have some Tiamat Docker images that can the Win64 Docker image is actually based on a Docker image that has wine built into it. And so it's a very light container, not as heavy as some of the Windows container, but it able to do all things. All that and the build fails. Oh, that makes sense. Let's patch it requirements. R. There we go. I gave it the relative path to the requirements file, which is not requirements.txt, but requirements-base.txt. And if you do this, you can build Tiamat yourself. I installed a way to remove one of these O's so that we could use an updated version of PyC parser. A lot of mess. Holy smokes. I like 30 emails. Think about all that later. Nice. So this was released. Let's see. Nice. Just Tiamat. Nice. It works. Looks like it works anyway. Let's release that on Artifactory. I feel like I had a script that used to do this in Artifactory. Here, I'm gonna poke around in my system real quick. I hate it when you like move projects around, or when you get a new computer and then you have no idea where everything is anymore that you already created. Ah, there's my build can actually. Oh. I really just need an item project for Artifactory and for PyPy. I would use those constantly. Actually, let me make a note of that. Item JFrog and item PyPy. It'd take me a minute to whip those up, and it would be so useful. Imagine being able to have a state file that managed the versions of all your things on PyPy. That'd be really handy. I could pull a release just by removing something from the file or adding it to my absent list. I could cut a new release by adding it to the present list. It'd be interesting. Okay. I'm showing my full screen again, right? Here we go. I found my build Tiamat script. So we're gonna try this out. It's going to build Tiamat for the 4 different things. Gonna build it for AMD 64, gonna build it for Windows 64, gonna build it for Windows 32, and gonna build it for i386. So, and then I don't even have to log into JFrog CLI. So I apologize for the watching paint dry, but this is the nice thing about that top release. Maybe we can look at making an item PyPy or an item Tiamat real quick. Or an item JFrog. There's already an SDK to interact with it. That would be nice. Just going on another window. username and password, or API key. Nice, I like having multiple things. You can pass off perimeter to the artifact. Loading artifacts and chunks, downloading folder as archive, uploading artifacts, copy artifacts, move, remove, set properties. The more I'm looking at this, the more I just want to make it real quick. Oh, look. JFrog CLI, command not found. Okay. J-ss CLI. Also part of being on a new computer. Yeah, remove my make. I don't want to keep Go on my computer. I'm not sorry for all those Go fans. Mute my mic while typing my password, so no one uses machine learning to figure out what my password is based on the little words I type. Although that would be a fun project to do, like get a recording of someone typing and like use machine learning to get so many samples of them typing in, each letter on the keyboard, because I'm sure there's a slightly different sound or a different enough sound from each key that from the sound of someone typing their password, you could probably pretty easily figure out what their password is. Anyway, that's why you gotta mute your mic when typing. More watching paint dry. Watching the AUR do its thing. So it looks like there's already a pretty good Python library for interacting with JFrog. How about PyPy? PyPy. Does PyPy have a Python SDK? It just thinks I want to look for things on PyPy, which maybe that's what I just need to do. Is come over here, go to pypy.org. Sorry, this project. This is just for fun right now. And I guess while we're watching the paint dry for this, we can just pipeline our work and get straight into looking at OpenAPI 3 specs. Probably a better use. A client CLI tool for searching for a package by name. Not quite. No, I needed to. These are nice CLI tools, and they replace the functionality that was for some reason ripped out of Pip, which is searching for packages. But hello, buddy. And, how's it going? Aftab Shaik. I don't know how to pronounce that name. I'm sorry for not doing it properly, but welcome to the stream. The publish PyPy. That looks closer. PyPy manage. Like a very well documented. Okay. Yeah, for some reason, not seeing as good of tools for interacting with PyPy. PyPy manage releases. Project name all. Oh, list create or delete tokens. Handy. List project collaborators. Nice. But you can't add collaborators. List project history. List project releases. List projects. This is closer to what I need. If I could port an item PyPy, manage collaborators, releases, and projects all from an SLS file, that would be like pop release, but turbo powered. I'd be all about that. So I like that one. I might just leave that tab open just for reference. Maybe it's twine that I need. Wrap. Like it'd be an item twine, not an item PyPy. What can I do with twine? I know pop release uses twine under the hood. DR documentation. And maybe I was overcomplicating this looking for a PyPy specific utility. Publishing packages on PyPy. It provides build system independent uploads of source and binary distribution artifacts for both new and existing projects. Twine upload, twine check, twine register. Yeah, twine does the publishing, but encouraging to know that the thing I'm looking for doesn't exist altogether. I might have to pull. Is there a PyPy API? Maybe I just interact with a PyPy API directly over AIOHT. Now this is interesting. Paginated decorator. I wonder if that's useful for item. Go as a heavy. PyPy APIs. Yes, including RSS feeds of new packages and new releases. Nice. There we go. I would rather use that than someone else's or hodgepodge of other people. Hmm, what I want. This listing a project. Release at a specific version. Nice. Am I able to post? No. Hmm. Go is still installing. I apologize for the paint dry over here. Hmm. List packages, releases, package roles, user packages, URLs, data. API is not recommended. Okay. This isn't as helpful as it would be. So far, I'm curious what this project does, how it handles listing collaborators, history, releases, deleting tokens. Where did their API come from? Where does it say project details? Homepage? And it doesn't exist on GitLab anymore, or on GitHub. Oh, it looks like this is an upgrade of the tool. Project still does all of the same things. How? How? PyPy admin. Let's look at how it releases. Manage project, self-project releases. Huh. PyPy project guy. Like, where did they find out on this project? Where did they find this? Oh, that's where. Maybe they did it manually. So looking at, let me log in. At least 32 minutes ago. Hey, that was us. Let's look at something, my oldest thing on here. Manage. Yeah, they looked at this. Manage project, the name of the project, releases. Okay. I'm ready. So just for fun, enter item. Now I can say pop create item cloud name item jfrog. Boom. And now I have all of this boilerplate code needed for an item jfrog project that actually took no time at all. Let's do that again for item pypy. Item pypy. Cool. Now I have a boilerplate project for doing an item pypy. That was super easy. Really an inconvenience. I wonder if JFrog has an OpenAPI 3 spec, because then I can do a for fun thing while testing the thing that I'm needing to work on today. I guess we could just open it in here. Open item, 20 item project. So I have been asked the question several times. of why create so many different projects? Um, like why have pop create and pop create item was the question today. Why not just include all the code for pop create item inside of pop create? And there are several answers to that question that I want to address. And if you have any questions about it, then let me know in the chat. So with pop, we can easily extend projects and we can easily extend the CLI of projects. So here I can have this conf.py with everything related to the core of pop create. And then I can come over to pop create item and I can extend that CLI with options specific to pop create item without having a whole bunch of noise in here. This is the conf.py that is for the core of pop create. And if I start cluttering it with so many other things, I'm going to end up with a giant conf.py file that is hard to read and what's going on. So, and another reason for separating projects is because they're maintained separately, they're tested separately. The pop create can work and it can be its own project and it can be super static and stable and no one has to touch it. And you can extend it with pop create item and pop create item can be released at its own pace. I mean, David Boucher ripped pop create out of pop because it didn't belong in there. Like we wanted to make changes to pop seed and we can't do it without releasing a new version of pop, and there's a whole bunch of bureaucracy around pop now because so many people are using it for so many different projects that pop seed just needed to be made into its own project. So having just ripped this out into its own project, I was going to make the same mistake again and have a completely different tool with different purpose, different documentation, all jam-packed into the same pop create project. So this is a paradigm that is common in pop. It's not a huge deal to create a ton of projects. I mean, you can have an entire program. I could have all of these directories and files be one giant file. And I could write it in such a way that instead of having multiple lines, I could just do everything on one giant one-liner in one single file. The reason why we don't do that is because it's difficult to maintain when you're doing version tracking with Git. You can't see what changed and where and why. And all of those same reasons, for that extreme example are why it's better to create small projects that do one thing and do it well. Is it's easier to maintain. It's easier to see where the changes are going and why. It's easier to track issues and features and testing. And if one of these projects doesn't get a lot of love, it still works 3 years down the road and it works with this other project. There's a lot of reasons why to create a lot of pop projects. The main reason, if I were to boil it all down to one thing, is we need to compartmentalize our code. We need to stop making monoliths. That's the purpose of pop in the first place. Is to, from the very beginning of a project, facilitate creating silos that work together. And so if you think that there's a lot of noise from there being so many projects, so many pop projects, then I like to think of it as music, not as noise. So it's nice to see so many pop projects. And look how easy it was for me to just spin up 2 more. Item JFrog, item PyPy. It would probably take me an hour for each of these. Because they're so simple, like doing something like AWS, the reason why it's been hard for me to get to it is because there's so much to AWS. But I could probably pump out an item PyPy and an item JFrog. It'd take me an hour each to have integration tests, unit tests, execution modules, or runner modules, or whatever we end up calling them, and state modules. Like, this would be really quick, and it'll be useful. I'd use an item PyPy and I'd use an item JFrog every day. personally, and this is taking a long time. Okay, I wanted to keep track of my notes for some of the things. New file. Notes. Where I can start saving one of these URLs that are handy. I like to consume other people's libraries as often as I can, but if they don't have one, then the JFrog CLI is written in Go, and that it's taking 20 minutes just to install Go so that I can compile the JFrog CLI tool. Unacceptable. With Python, I would just pip install it on PyPy, put my tokens in the right place, and then ready to go. So I'm ready to not need this. Until Felipe. Okay. Now that I have these notes in there, I can. Okay, let's look at pop create item and let's look at automatically generating exec modules. Open API 3. I tried to do it with the Swagger API, but then I realized Swagger, even though OpenAPI 3 is based on the Swagger spec, it is fundamentally different. So we're going to be working with this on the OpenAPI 3 page. They have an example. Let's look at it real quick. While we wait for all that JFrog stuff to happen, they have this pet sort API. That is just a fun example, but this shows this is what I want to work with for automatically generating exec modules. If you can ask me an OpenAPI 3 spec, I want to automatically be able to create an entire item project based. So that's my here. So we have, let's see, the version of the API. So open API 3.0, API ID. This is the pet store app. More versioning info, license, nice. Apache license, same as Salt. The servers to hit up gives me an example of what URLs I can hit. Nice, I can use that in my account plugin. Paths. This is where all the fun stuff is. These are all of my different functions in here. So I have /pets, which will get pets. I have post to /pets that will create a pet. And delete. That will delete the pet. Find a pet by status. And get a pet by ID. So you can see even this example is very, very, very much the way that we've done item execution modules in the past. I want to list the things, I want to get one specific thing, I want to create and delete. Those are like the 4 basic functions that I want in every item thing. So this demo is perfect for what I want to do. What's tricky then is how do I turn that into a project? I think expecting a get and then a plural thing like /pets to get a list of things, I can turn this into a list function inside of an exec module pets. So I have a description. This will turn into a doc string. Tags, that's helpful. I have my parameters. I have their names and schema. What are these schema applied to? Let's see, I have so this is a list of parameters. And the type of parameter is it is a query parameter. The name of the parameter is limit. This is the description of that parameter, and it is an int 32. Okay, that's helpful. So I can turn this into typing in a function header. Let's see, what can I do with tags? Is this the name of a sub that it goes under? Maybe. Yeah. So let's look at this then. Let's use this example and turn this into our most bare bones type of automatically generated tests. And we can do that. I kind of want to know before we get started though. Let's look at some other OpenAPI 3 specs. We can see what's common between them. OpenAPI document that conforms to OpenAPI specification is itself a JSON object, which may be represented in either JSON or YAML format. Document structure, data types. Python, this won't matter a lot, but oh wow, integer, int32, int64, float, double. Python, those can all be duck typed. Like I can statically type double, and I'm pretty sure float is also a type within Python. Is it? Python code. Yes, it is. Yeah, we have bytes and we have looks like a string can be any collection of base 64 characters or any sequence of octets. I think there is no Boolean, really. String. Okay, good to know. Markdown formatting in the description fields are okay. Relative references. Else. Okay. Required. You must tell me the version of the OpenAPI specification. Nice. Metadata about the API. An array of server objects which provide connectivity information to a target server. I'll use this for account to get my default server to connect to. Paths. Available paths on operations API. Elements to hold various schemas for preparation, a declaration of which security mechanisms can be used across the API. Also might be useful for account. A list of tags used by the specification with additional metadata. The order of the tags can be used to reflect on their order by the parsing tools. Not all tags that are used by the operation object must be declared. The tags that are not declared may be organized randomly or based on the tool's logic. Each tag name in the list must be interesting. So maybe we can use tags as a way of deciding which sub thing should go in. Info object. Title of the API. That'll be the root sub. Short description of the API. Service, contact. Yeah. Responses, parameters, examples. None of these are required though. Oh wow, this is long. We don't need to read the whole book right now, but I think this is useful information. I'm going to pin the tab. Actually, I think that's kind of enough. There's another version of the pets. Okay, so does the pet store, does this one have schemas? Doesn't look like it. Not required. So can I like use it if it's there, but focus on the things that are required? I don't know. By the way, whether you're watching on Twitch or on YouTube, you can, if you type in the comments, it'll be shared across all the platforms. You can probably see already in the chat if you've been watching for a while. You can do that. I guess I can pull up the chat that's been so far. I go to my talking screen. So we see some of these are coming from YouTube, like RestreamBot says, this message came from YouTube. So just a fun thing to keep in mind. if it says that you're watching on YouTube and that you're the only viewer, you can still communicate with everyone else that's watching on their platforms. So that's fun. Oh, that's not very helpful. All right. Wow, this is taking a long time to install the JFrog CLI. Leave that a little while. My face. Even my beard. Okay. My hair's getting nice. Thing that I think about sometimes. Right, Taco Cloud, open API. Oh, why can no one see anything? Oh, it's because we're showing Firefox. Whew. Good thing I'm watching the stream on my little tiny window over there. This time I was only without the stream for a few seconds. Okay. And since this is a required parameter, I think I can save this. What's that loose version library called? Python loose. No, I don't need a loose version library. Let me print this. 3.0.0. I read this as split. That makes it a list. I split it on periods. That makes it that. And now if I say this, greater than 3. 3. Oh. Yeah, I have loose versioning already. Nice. So now I'm skipping this, but I'm verifying that I have an open API 3 spec. Right, so black is confused. Weird. Still waiting on Go to install over there. Why am I getting tired? Is it because I've been having so many more? This is what a sugar crash feels like. Oh. Ooh. Okay. Heck. Info servers paths. Let's look at these just one at a time. We've already handled OpenAPI, which tells us the version. Why is black refused? Why do I keep going back to Firefox? There, I fixed my black integration. Okay. So let's print this. Print back dot X API ID. Pet store. Nice. This is the name of my project. Print spec.info. This tells me the version of the project. To be in. No. Oh. Now I've got a list of server URLs. Nice. I don't know what I'm going to do with those, but it'd be handy. Who knows? Um, license part of code.license. So by default, hot create will make an Apache license project, but maybe I should duplicate the license of the project that we're getting here. Be handy. And what is the license? Oh, it's the text already did for me. Oh, Yeah, I don't know if I want to do anything with that project license, but I'll hold on to it for now. Da-da-da. I'll use all of that later. Let's see. Paths. The paths is where my heavy lifting is going to be. Earlier. I have this open API 3 spec object that parsed the spec. I mean, a fancy little object out of it. It's not necessary, but it is helpful for knowing that we're dealing with a legit API spec. Server objects. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it like this. Tags. None. Nice. So useful. API dot components. None. Okay. Dot functions. Okay. external dots. Okay. Oh, this tells me if there's anything in the root. That's API path. Like if there's something that I can get or post to the raw base URL, then that would go into API.path. That's why when I say print API.path, nothing is listed for pet store. Already handled info. Hmm. It showed me all getters, pets, ID. Interesting. Let's see all of my posts. Okay. Path tags, please. No. Parameters. No parameters. Nice. This is to work with that. No description. Okay. Yeah, let's just do everything. This is me. I don't know anything about the OpenAPI 3 spec. So this is quite the learning experience. Yeah, see here we have tags, parameters, and descriptions and schema, all kinds of things. Why am I not getting that? Ugh. I have here dictionary, each path, it tells me what I can do with it. It tells me, is it a get, post, delete, patch, or, whatever. So, here as a description, it has parameters. It even has responses. I can format my return types. Okay, I think we're getting really close to being able to do something with this information. For now, up until now, it's just been poking at the API. But now I need to turn this information into functions inside of my Taco Cloud execution modules folder. So lots of fun. Hey, just responding to some messages real quick. Now's the time to put something in the chat if you have comments. Oh my goodness. Why does my screen keep going over there to just Firefox? I think that's something to do with my full screen settings. So I'm sorry for however long you've been sitting staring at that. I just now realized. Yeah, if you're watching and you're just watching my empty Firefox window plus Tyler stretching, then let me know. I can fix that easily. This is what we're looking at now. I'm just looking at the API spec. We've got some paths out of this. Get, post, delete, get. Each of these has a description, parameters, and so on. just thinking. That's another hard part of all this. I wish I could iterate over these. But we looked at it here. I'm just going to push the debug button this time and stop right here. Maybe right here. That'll give us a better way of poking around at this API. API. Components, none. Extensions. Okay. Info. Contact. License. Build. I do want to use. Yeah, it looks like it was able to do that once I was in debugging mode. It was a lot easier. So looking at the API object again, API dot okay, now when I get to that part, it should be the same exact thing. Okay. Yep, looks like it is. Project version, API info dot version. Pretty sure that works. Yep, get that far. API info dot title. Not gonna get the spec for API dot open API. I'll log an error, but I won't blow up. Because if this open API thing is able to parse it, then I don't know. Okay. Nice. So you've got it all, and only we're using the API object instead of getting everything out of the raw spec. That's fun. It is still let's look at this path object. I get as a description. It has parameters. Which has a description. Nice. Okay. But this doesn't have tags. And a patch, post, put, none of those have any tags. So I guess I have to determine which of these it has. Patch, post, put, get, or delete. To be honest, it's a little backwards from the way I want to do things. Like here it's telling me it's just a list of all of the paths. And I kind of want to organize this data into my own format before I try and make functions and function stubs out of it. Like I want to organize these by tag, or by the common parts of the path. Yeah, I'm almost thinking of the tags. Like I'll have my, like if I was going to call this pets get function, I'm imagining this going into item on hub.exec.petstore.pets.get. With the parameters, let's see, it has a limit. Only this is a list function. I want to show up on the hub as this limit, which is a number. So this is what I want to be able to get. I need to turn this into this. Maybe that's a little helpful. So let's see. I want to turn it into def async def list, and this function is inside of exec or s.py list hub ctx and name int. Let's see the response. And it tells me that 200 is a successful response. So we'll hold off type in return real quick. Oh, this isn't name. This is limit int. And the limit, does it have a default? Okay. And we have a description. So I also want my description to show up here. Not necessarily want these here. Actually, why not? So this is what I'm getting. Turn this into this. There. Now we've got a clear description. Like once we defined what we want to do, we can do it. I can even generate some tests, especially for listing functions. That just lists some of the items to make sure that that function works okay. But when it comes to creating, I'm a lot more nervous. Whatever API you're wrapping, I don't want to creating resources on it that are going to cost you. That would be bad. Ugh. Maybe before you run tests on a project, run arbitrary. Look at the tests. Did I switch to showing nothing again? How does that keep happening? What is my shortcut for Firefox? File, copy. Oh, that's why. I need to put these in there again. So every time I was running the tests, I was accidentally leaving. My shortcuts for OBS were a bit bad. Okay, there we go. Now when I press Shift F10 to run my tests, it doesn't take us away from the content. I'm really sorry that that was happening. Really, really. There's no attribute exec. So here's my colloquial description of what I want to do. I want to turn this into this. And actually, let's be very explicit. This tag goes where I'm going to put this thing. I've used everything from the function. I can use the fact that this is a get into a list function. Sometimes a get will just be a get function. How do I tell the difference? Look at this again. Let's see. Get. This gets all the pets. Create a new pet associated with the user. Delete Yeah, I don't like the way that this dictionary is formatted. I want it to be sorted by tags, and not just by tags, but by like I think I need to mangle this data, or not mangle it. I need to reorganize this data such that it is sorted by function. Not familiar with this format for Python docstring. This could use some help, but alright, so this is a working deal. I want to turn it into something that is well documented, well documented on how to call it from code, well documented on how to call it from the CLI, and then I want it to have actual code that is calling the API hub.tool.session hub.tool.petstore.session.get. Pass it ctx. Yeah, so this is what I want. I want to turn this from the Open API spec into something that has documentation, that has an item example for calling with code, an item example for calling from the CLI, and then I want to actually call a tool that will get this, get the session. Long story short is when you do pop create, and you want to create an item project and you pass it an open API spec, I really want that to mean all the work is done for you. Like, you get this for every function defined in the paths of Open API spec. You get this. Tons of functions, all organized according to the organization of your Open API spec. And we can do this for AWS, we can do this for GCP, we can do this for all of the VMware stuff. That is the goal. To automatically create execution modules so that all you have to do is write the state modules. So I think that's it for the day. I think this is awesome to have this definition, to have poked at this. I'm ready to be in the stream, I think. Or maybe I want to reformat some of this information. Wow, that Go install is still happening. Yeah, I feel like I need to reformat this information. I'm going to use it. And I also don't think this is as useful as what I would get out of. This is just raw element that I'm printing. Hmm. You know what? Let's not end for another minute. Let's wait another 15 minutes or so. Let's see what we can get out of this. So I don't like this. I want you to turn it into something that is more easily parsed, turn into this. Especially having my pathing figured out, uh, figuring out where my doc strings are. So before we even create files all over the place, let's just turn this open API spec into something that is usable. So have that. Oh, some of this is so good. Let me do a quick debug right here. Path required fields is, or maybe this one just doesn't happen to have a required field. You can find one that has required fields. None of them. Nice. Um, hmm, like that. Let's instead look at spec. Spec paths. Hmm? And now it tells me the path along with what it does. Does it get pets? Does it get a pet? Like, what am I naming my functions to? Like, I can guess at what should be called list and what should be called get and what should be called create and delete. But I think in the end, this has got to be my function name. Create a pet, get pets, get pet. I don't think I can make assumptions. Or I don't think that's one of the assumptions I can make. Because this over here isn't always necessarily the best way to find the name. Because look, right, slash pets, get pets, and slash pets, pet ID, get pet. But if I called this function get pets and this one get pet, that would work. And I'm pretty sure these paths have to be unique. let's just create the root of my project. Um, my first path will be project title or project ID. How about api.info.title? Both and you turn that into a place. Hmm. We're getting there. Okay. I'm feeling exhausted, but that's just really close. Or what's the name of the other thing? Slash pet. Get pet. Pets. Create a pet. Post pets. Okay. Pets. Get pets. Create a pet. Nice. I think that we are getting there really quickly. Pets. Get pet. Create a pet. Delete pet. Find by status. Get pet. Nice. So these are the names of my functions. And let's see if I can turn this into print path. What do I want? What do I want from this? Print path.tags. Yes. No, the path doesn't have it. Value. debug this again. See what I'm doing. Let's look at value. Head. Get is empty. Delete is not. Let's see. Patch. The raw element. Tags. Parameter. Yeah, so I want to get this beautiful little object. But I want to get it based on I need to look at that. Get, post, patch, delete. I guess head. Whew. Whoa, not everything. What's this? Crazy split state. Okay, for a func type in this. Operation. I'm pretty sure that this. Pretty sure that will never happen. Yeah, maybe. Doing an else clause on a for loop. It does what I was expecting. It's nice. Which, if it finds something, then it'll continue with the function. Otherwise, if this break never happens, then we'll continue on this for loop. So that's handy to know. So now when we get to this part of the code, we have a function. Func dot break right here and just verify what we got. Func callbacks, none, description. They'll have the path. We know what our required fields are. We know what our tags are. Oh, I also know what my func type is. Nice. Func type plus. That's more clear to me. And it's 5 p.m. So it doesn't look like we have enough viewers today to do a raffle, but we'll do it again next Friday if everyone is if we have the participation up enough to where we could do a raffle and just buy it. If you're upset about that, then say so in the chat and we'll do it with the 0 to 1 viewers that are watching right now. But that's been it so far. This is where we're at with pop create item. It's going places. Hopefully we can generate exec modules and an entire item cloud project just based on an OpenAPI 3 spec. That's the goal. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Questions, comments, arguments, or rebuttals. Thank you everyone for participating. And if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube or on Twitch, then let me know how you like and what's working and what could be better. And I'm always looking to improve on this stream. I know there was a certain quality everyone came to expect from when I was doing the streams back in October, and lately I've just been trying to do it every day, no matter what, to get back into the groove of doing the streams again. And so, thanks for bearing with me as we kind of get our steam back to doing some of these programming streams. So, thank you for your participation and have a great day. Either out.